The untold story of India's colonization. Before we dive into today's incredible story, welcome to the New World Playbook, the channel where we reveal the stories, strategies, and secrets that shaped our world. If you love deep dives into history and uncovering hidden truths, please hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Today we explore a story that changed the course of history, but it's one few have heard in full detail. Imagine a land so rich it was called the Jewel of the East, a place where bustling markets overflowed with spices, fine silks, and gold, where ancient cities thrived with art, literature, and the science, centuries before many in the West even knew of them. Now imagine that land slowly falling under the shadow of foreign sails, not through a single war, but through trade deals, manipulation, and betrayal. This is the untold story of India's colonization and the people who fought to reclaim their freedom. Before the storm, pre-colonial India. Before Europeans arrived, India was a patchwork of powerful kingdoms and thriving economies. In the 16th century, the Mughal Empire ruled much of the subcontinent, overseeing trade networks stretching to Europe, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Indian cotton and silk were prized worldwide. Pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, and cloves filled ships sailing to faraway lands. The land was not perfect. Wars between kingdoms and social hierarchies existed, but it was wealthy, culturally rich, and politically complex. Foreign traders came for one reason: profit, and they would stop at nothing to get it. The first sail, Europeans arrive. In 1498, the Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama landed in Calicut. He did not just bring goods, he brought a new era. The Portuguese soon established forts and trading posts along India's western coast, taking Goa in 1510. The Dutch arrived next, setting up stations in the early 1600s. The French settled in Pondicherry and other towns, but among all these powers, one group would outmaneuver the rest: the British East India Company, the merchants who became rulers. The British East India Company began as a modest trading firm in 1600. At first, they only came to buy spices and textiles. But as the Mughal Empire weakened in the 18th century, the company saw its chance. Through diplomacy, bribery, and military force, they began taking control of territory. The turning point was the Battle of Plassey in 1757. A small British force led by Robert Clive defeated the Nawab of Bengal, partly because his commander betrayed him. That victory gave the company control over Bengal, one of India's richest provinces. From then on, the British were no longer just traders, they were rulers. Life under company rule. Under the East India Company, India's wealth flowed outward, to London, not its own people. Traditional industries collapsed as British-made goods flooded the market. Indian weavers, once famed for their textiles, lost their livelihoods. Heavy taxes crushed farmers. Many fell into debt. Famine struck, killing millions, not only due to natural causes, but because of policies that valued profit over lives. One British official once said, "The misery in India is inevitable. It is the price of progress." For ordinary Indians, this progress felt like suffering. The First War of Independence. By 1857, resentment exploded. What began as a mutiny among Indian soldiers in the company's army turned into a full-scale rebellion. Known in Britain as the Sepoy Mutiny and in India as the First War of Independence, it shook the foundations of colonial rule. From Delhi to Kanpur to Jhansi, rebels fought fiercely. Leaders like Rani Lakshmibai, the Queen of Jhansi, became legends of resistance. But the British crushed the revolt brutally. Entire villages burned, thousands executed. In the aftermath, the British Crown took direct control from the company. India became the British Raj. The Raj in growing resistance. From 1858, the British tightened control. Railways, telegraphs, and postal systems were introduced, not as gifts, but tools for resource extraction. Education was offered, but only to a small elite, creating a class that served colonial interests. Yet ironically, this education sparked political awareness. By the late 19th century, groups like the Indian National Congress emerged, demanding reforms and self-rule. The fight was no longer just about resisting soldiers. It was about reclaiming identity and freedom. Gandhi and the freedom struggle. In the early 20th century, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi returned from South Africa. Using nonviolent resistance, satyagraha, he inspired millions. From the Salt March in 1930 to the Quit India movement in 1942, Gandhi led a movement unlike any before. He was joined by leaders like Subhas Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru, each shaping India's path to freedom. The final push, World War II, weakened Britain's empire. India's protests intensified. The cost of holding the colony became too high. On August 15, 1947, India gained independence. But freedom came with pain. The partition divided India and Pakistan, sparking massive violence and displacement. India's colonization was about more than land. It was about control, identity, and rewriting history. For nearly 2 centuries, the British shaped India's politics, economy, and culture. They built railways and cities, but also drained resources, divided communities, and left wounds still healing today. Yet this story is also one of resilience. Countless men and women refuse to surrender their spirit. And this reminds us that freedom is never given, it is taken. Warm, inviting tone. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like this video, subscribe to the New World Playbook, and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring you more untold stories from around the world. And this is just the beginning. Our next videos will explore revolutions, empires, and the moments that changed history forever. Stay tuned, because the playbook is only getting started.